Eddie Hearn, Eddie the Hitman Hearn, he wants to take over American boxing. One of his goals in life is to take over American boxing. It's a very ambitious goal. Because, right now, as this video is being made, Eddie Hearn is the number one promoter in the UK, the number one boxing promoter, right? You got guys like, legendary Frank Warren, and other guys that I don't remember every UK promoter, but there's a bunch of UK promoters. But let's just keep it short. Eddie Hearn is the number one guy there, right? He has the biggest cash cow, signed to him, which is of course Anthony Joshua. And I guess his plan is, I guess he sees that he is the number one guy in the UK. And I guess, he has a lot of ambition, right? Because I guess he feels like, what? I already took over the UK. I took over the UK boxing scene. I am the most powerful promoter in the UK. So you know what? He sees that America has a lot of boxing talent, right? He knows that America has always produced a lot of boxing talent. There's a lot of talent in the United States. He sees the Charlo brothers. He sees Errol Spence. He sees maybe even Andre Ward. He sees, and there's several other heavyweights. He sees all these heavyweights, and he thinks to himself, you know what? Look at the heavyweight division in America right now. There's not really a standout promoter, So I guess he feels like he's young enough to take over American boxing. That's why he did this big deal where he's trying to sign as many American fighters as he possibly can. Already Adrian Broner turned him down. And actually, I wish him nothing but the best. I wish Eddie Hearn nothing but the best. It would actually be cool if, Eddie Hearn took over American boxing and he was like the number one promoter in America, in the UK, because American, that would be kind of cool. It would be kind of funny as well, because it'll be like, but a guy from the UK is the most powerful promoter in America. That's what he wants to be. He wants to be the most powerful promoter in America. He's not yet, but that's his goal. And if he ends up signing all the major elite fighters, he would become the main promoter in the United States. But currently, he hasn't signed. He signed some American fighters, but he hasn't signed, in my opinion, the elites. He got to sign, Terrence Crawford. He got to sign the Charlo brothers. He got to sign, if Andre Ward comes back, sign him. Shit, maybe even sign Deontay Wilder. Wouldn't it be funny if Deontay Wilder signed under Eddie Hearn? But yeah, he's going to have to sign a bunch of these fighters. And let's see if he could do it. He already signed Danny Jacobs, of course. I think he's working with Jarrell Big Baby Miller. But yeah. I find what I find funny about that is he's trying to take over American boxing, but he doesn't want his cash cow to fight in America. Like, he doesn't want Anthony Joshua to fight in America, because every piece that I read of Eddie Hearn, he's always saying, he feels that Anthony Joshua deserves. That's all he keeps saying. He keeps repeating himself. Anthony Joshua deserves to be fighting in the UK. He deserves to be fighting. He's the one that sells out. And I get it. No one's saying that he's not I'm not saying that Anthony Joshua doesn't sell out crowds. I've been saying forever that Anthony Joshua is a cash cow. I understand this. I'm not an idiot. I'm not stupid. I'm not blind to the truth. I know that Anthony Joshua is a cash cow, but like I said in my previous video, I think that great fighters, like many UK, I understand that Anthony Joshua is a cash cow, but there's been many UK cash cows who were also big and popular like Anthony Joshua, but they still elected to fight in the US. So what I'm saying is, why is Eddie Hearn wanting his cash cow to just be fighting his whole career in England? At least have him come to, try to persuade him to come once to the United States, even if it's not against Wilder, against somebody. You want to take over American boxing, have your cash cow fight in the US. And people are going to be like, wow, look, he has his most popular fighter fighting in the US. people are gonna, American boxing fans are gonna look at him, know who he is, especially if he puts on a good performance and like knocks out people. I think that's a good way to get more American boxers to want to join you, is having your fighters fight in the U.S. Have Kell Brook fight in America. You already know, he signed Amir Khan. You already know Amir Khan would be willing to fight in the U.S. anytime, because Amir Khan fights more in the U.S. than in England. He spent 6 years fighting in the U.S. So I think that's what Eddie Hearn should do. He should try to get his fighters to be fighting in the U.S. And then American fighters might be looking at that like, okay, he even has his fighters fighting in the U.S. Maybe I could, join Eddie Hearn, especially if he gets his cash cow, Anthony Joshua. But yeah, I just find it odd that he's trying to take over American boxing, but he doesn't want his number one cash cow fighting in the U.S. And yeah, I understand that he says sometimes, they're not counting it out, but you could tell that his main priority is to get Anthony Joshua to have Anthony Joshua stay in the U.S. and just fight all his fights there. You could just tell that. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to say. And if you want to finish, as always, much appreciated.